wrestling fans, are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, let's get ready to rumble!
And now, please welcome at this time your hosts, Graham GSM Matthews and RJ Marceau. You're listening to the next era of wrestling radio. This is WrestleRant Radio.
Happy Thursday, folks. Welcome back to WrestleRant Radio here today for Thursday, February 19th, 2026. And the days removed from the Daytona 500. I am Graham GSM Matthews, not Grant Matthews. That is our sports reporter on the field. He's out in the field right now, so he's not here today. He has no idea who Max Crosby is, so he can't offer any analysis on that. But I do know someone who can, and that is the one, the only, the illustrious Mr. Marceau. Brother, what's going on?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am doing well. I unfortunately missed the Daytona 500 this past weekend. Grant Matthews was on the scene, so I can't ask him right now. He's currently on the field, like I said, in the field. But you did catch it. What were your thoughts on the Daytona 500 this past weekend?
I mean, it was honestly for me, like, just such a big fan. I think it was just great to finally see racing back. It wasn't like it was so long ago. They ended in November, started a couple weeks ago, and then obviously with Daytona here. The only complaint I had, they kind of like, the way that the car is now, it is on speedways, super speedways specifically, easier to make passes on pit road than it is on the track, just the way the cars are. It's like the whole third stage, they just save fuel to make their pit stop the quickest and then get out in front. So like they were running like half throttle the whole time. There's just like, I want to see racing. I want to see like, I can just watch someone on the fucking street go half throttle. Yeah. I mean, so like that was kind of a complaint, but the ending was great. Tyler Reddick won, like a nice, great ending, honestly. So good start. I mean, I know rain. They usually have rain and issues the first week. So overall, I thought it was a good start for the season.
Was it on Saturday or Sunday?
It was on Sunday.
Yeah, because I was going to say, usually when it's on Sunday, if it rains, because I know I've watched it before and it's had to be delayed, so they just push it back to like the next day, right?
Yep. Yeah, usually because it's this weekend, so then they usually do it Monday, and then Monday's President's Day. So
okay, yeah, that makes sense.
That usually helps.
How new are the changes? Because you mentioned all these changes that they've made that have made it less enjoyable. Have those been a thing for a while?
Since COVID.
Oh, wow, okay.
They changed the car the year after COVID.
Oh, wow. So,
yeah.
Any chance they change it back based on fan feedback?
Probably not. I mean, they brought the only changes they've made are like tire changes. Like they make the tire technically like softer, so the tires wear quicker. So then it makes you have to like more car control. But like besides that, there really isn't much they can do. That's just an expense thing. I think it's going to be one of those things they're going to have to wait a while to finally fix, unfortunately.
Makes sense. We're here on the February 19th, 2026 edition of WrestleRant Radio. We will get Mr. Marceau's thoughts on everything here today. In addition to the Daytona, we got a lot to talk about. We had a new WWE PLE announced for May 31st coming up in just a few short months, and a new place they haven't been to for a PLE, I think, in a long time, if not ever. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. The lead story here today that we'll get into in a little bit, Ronda Rousey returning to MMA. I know I brushed upon this on Tuesday's hashtag, and Mr. Marceau is in the chat. want to get him want to get him on. I want to get his thoughts on that. I saw Eric just say in the chat a couple of seconds ago, asking Graham, why are you talking about yourself on the third person? Grant, because Grant is a whole separate person. I'm Graham. Grant is not here. Eric, you should know. You were the one that gave me the nickname, that sported the nickname a couple days ago. So now we're just talking about him here in the third person because it's not me. But anyway, we're going to talk about Ronda Rousey in a little bit, some thoughts from Raw as well. I did watch Dynamite last night. Did you tune out after the Moxley hand-biting thing?
After the hand-biting thing, I shut it down for the night. I was going to watch today, and then I saw the Ishii slaps, and I just said, you know what? Not for me this week. Well, I did see Mina Mellons. I also saw Mina Mellons get fucking schoolboy to lose.
Yeah, so she always loses. Well. So.
but I literally turned my back for not even a second, and I hear rolls her up, and I hear all of a sudden I start hearing Willow's music, like the I'm like, turn around, and then she just literally, I'm like, what happened? Like, last thing I saw, Willow was down. I literally turned my head to grab my phone. She's already rolled her up and pinned her. And I'm like, how?
And a match it wasn't a singles match either.
No, it was the Fatal 4-Way with Shafir and Megan Bain, I believe.
Yep.
See, I watched, and and then I saw the Ishii slaps, and I said, you know what? I think I'm going to check out for the night.
But listen, I think you missed the two best parts. I'll talk about it later. But Hangman and MJF had a really good promo to set up their match for Revolution for the world title with a very interesting stipulation. And the main event was Swerve, which I'll get to. I'll get your thoughts on that later. But Swerve and Omega had a great match in the main event as well, with Swerve going heel at the end of it as well, which I was honestly not expecting. I thought could be the case at some point. I didn't think it would happen last night, with a pretty good angle to close the show. Eric saying, I'm so sorry about that. Eric, don't worry about it. I'm just ribbing you here on the show. After you call me Grant so many times, I think we're just going to run with it, along with Trevor and Bon Quivy and whoever the fuck else gets named here in the chat. But anyway, thank you guys for joining in. As always a fun time. Want to just mention new episodes of the show available every single Thursday right here on the YouTube channel, but also on WrestleRant.com, WrestleRantRadio.com, and all major podcast platforms. Want to shout out the channel members real quick. Alexis, Miss Bond Matthews, Dillon, DiGiacomo, Mrs. Renee, Daniel Malcolm at I'm Quarter on X, DJ Swerve1 at Swerve1 on IG, Mr. Marceau himself at RJ_Marceau on X, John Ritland, Real Honestly with John Ritland on YouTube, Richie Red Planet Wrestling on YouTube, and Average Grunt at gruntwrestling.bluesky.social on Blue Sky. Hope Grunt can join us later for some AEW talk, because I know he's probably interested to hear our thoughts on that. But if you guys are watching live, again, thank you. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, turn on notifications. All that stuff is greatly appreciated. Mr. Marceau's got his notes out. He is ready today. He is prepared. But I got to ask you about this. First of all, Alexis is here. She says, hi, RJ. And then Eric, there's the wave from Mr. RJ. But he also said, Eric said as well, RJ, do you think Crosby stays in Vegas?
I do. I think he stays in Vegas. They said yesterday they want 2 first-round picks and a premium player. Unless they fall off of that, I think it's going to be a little too rich for some people's blood. So I think Max is going to stay in Vegas.
Okay, staying in Vegas. Where do you think, if he were to go anywhere, what team do you think would give him the highest bid for him to go to trade for him?
That's a great question. I feel like someone that's like win now would probably go after him. I don't know exactly who. I just feel like 2 firsts and a premium player. That's a lot to give up. He's a great player too, but like, I don't know. That's a lot. It is a lot. And like, if you get him and then it doesn't pan out, then you're kind of like, you set yourself back a little bit. So
yeah.
Don't know who. I mean, I know like the people say like the Patriots could probably use someone like him. There's plenty of teams that could use him. I just think the 2 firsts and the premium players it's going to be too much.
Yeah, that sounds like it's a lot. But would he be worth the trade though? If they did get him, if he did leave Vegas, would it be worth it for that team? Whoever were to get him, that is.
Yeah, I think depending on what you're giving up, he's a great player. So I think it depends on what you're giving up. Mm. I mean, like you said, if you're win now and he's the last piece, yeah, okay, screw you. Like theoretically, if you're good, those 2 first-round picks are going to be late first-round picks anyway, so they're basically second-round picks. You have Max Crosby, depending on who else you give up. I mean, it's going to be worth it if someone trades him. He's a great player.
So you're saying there's a chance the Raiders could win the Super Bowl next year if they retain?
No.
No? Even with Crosby?
No, they're one of the worst teams in the league, brother.
So you're saying they need Crosby on the team?
They have the first pick. That's how bad they are.
But even with Crosby, they have no chance, you're saying?
No, he's a defensive player. He's not like – it's not like he's like a quarterback or anything. Like, okay. He's good, but you need more. It's like Myles Garrett on the Browns. Like, he's a one defense player, a great player, but they can't win because their offense stinks.
But the Browns did well this past season, did they not? Not great, but they did well enough.
I think they've had a losing record.
Okay, maybe not. I thought they did. Maybe I'm thinking of last year. I thought they did well one of these recent seasons after stinking for so many years.
5-12 and fired their head coach.
Could be worse.
Yeah, the Raiders who are like 4-11.
Yeah. Basically fighting for biggest loser.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Fernando, what's going on, brother? He's talking about who wins, RJ, Ronda or Gina? Don't answer that question. We'll get back to that when we talk about Ronda in a couple minutes. Nathaniel, what's going on? Thanks for joining, talking about going to a Mariners opening game next month. Very nice. He also said, how would you guys feel about Brock Lesnar versus Gunther at WrestleMania? I would feel better about that than Brock versus LA Knight. I've talked about that. I think that would be garbage. I still think Brock and Oba is the match, but Brock and Gunther would be fine. I don't know. I think Gunther would have to win, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think whoever faces Brock needs to win. But I don't hate Gunther and Brock. I don't know. I feel like I had envisioned that's the SummerSlam match. Put Brock out to the Saskatchewan and we move on. So don't hate it, but I'd rather, like I said, feed him Oba first. Oba kills Brock. Brock has one last thing, and then Gunther just puts him out the pasture at SummerSlam.
Yeah, and that's also with the implication that, like you kind of just mentioned there, that if he were to face Brock in Mania, it would be with the implication that he's done after that because he's the career killer. I'm just thinking he faces Brock and it's just a regular match. But how do you just do a regular match with Gunther in Mania against a guy like Brock and not have it be his retirement match? So, and also miss SummerSlam in Minnesota in August or whatever. So, yeah, no, I completely agree. I don't know who Gunther faces instead, but I think we'll figure that out as
AJ Styles.
Okay, I will ask you about that later because we're having a retirement ceremony for AJ Styles on Raw this coming week. That's a hot take. Hot take. I'll ask you about it a little bit later on when we get to the Raw stuff. But Fernando said, what are your thoughts on Cena's interview admitting AJ Styles was not supposed to face Styles at Crown Jewel last year and that his retirement year was so confusing they kept pivoting on the retirement? The latter part of that we already knew. Like, they pivoted a lot, especially with the heel turn. That doesn't bother me too much because some of what we got was great. Some of what we got, the heel turn, was awful. So that doesn't bother me. I would have wanted to see him face Drew, though, at Crown Jewel, but I'm glad we got the AJ match because it probably ended up being a better match, and Drew probably would have lost to Cena, which would have been dumb. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I thought the AJ match was good. Like I said, I think they kind of needed that, so I'm glad they did the pivot. And like I said, the whole run was pivoted. Once they did the heel run, like you started in January, instantly pivoted for the heel turn, which Cena was on board for, which was fucking terrible. Sorry, Alexis, we said it back then. It was terrible, and it turned out terrible, and I'm not stepping down from this. We were saying how bad this was going to be, and people were like, oh, this is great. The moment, guess what? The moment was great. Everything else, pretty much everything after that was awful.
Yep.
There was a couple good parts, but like his whole entire heel run itself, there was no positive besides him losing to Cody.
Yeah, no, that was really about it. I mean, there were some... Well, no, I like the fact that he faced Orton as a heel. The Punk match I liked as a heel. But a lot of it, the promos were awful.
Oh, my God. The promos were terrible.
The promos were putrid. I mean, let's be honest here. They were really bad. No, but I completely agree. So I'm kind of glad they pivoted on some
but
stuff.
Honestly, at the end of the day, John Cena said in an interview, I had it written down there, just who cares? Who cares?
He literally said when Chris Van Vliet asked him, well, why didn't we get... I love how he's answering, yeah, I was supposed to face Drew. I was supposed to do this. Okay, what was supposed to happen with The Rock and Travis Scott? That's the most important question. I don't care who you were supposed to face. It's nice to know, but that's not the most important question. The biggest question is, what was Rock and Travis Scott? What were their roles going to be in this heel run? Like you said, I think you just said you had the quote. I have it here as well. Who cares? That's literally what he said. He goes, it doesn't matter who cares. Why are you asking? All right, Cena. Maybe just because it's a logical question, but, whatever. I'll never get over that nugget of an answer. Jesus Christ. Fernando also saying, did you hear Seth Rollins' interview with Shannon Sharp saying that there's still real bad blood between him and Punk? What else do you expect them to say? I mean, I'm not saying they're best friends.
He's going to say everything's... I mean... He's not going to say everything. Even if it is, he's not going to say everything's sunshine and rainbows and lollipops.
No, I think they're totally fine with each other. I mean, they're not going out to they're not going out to get pancakes after the show on the road, but I think they're completely fine. I think, was it Shannon Sharp or was it who else was it that said the Cavs are coming? Watch out East. Who is that?
Stephen A. Smith said
Stephen A. Smith, of course. And how are the Cavs doing, by the way?
They haven't played yet, so shut up. They're still not. Shut up. They haven't played after the All-Star break yet. Don't worry. I have it in my calendar. They're coming back, and I don't want to talk about it right now.
Now I'm going to keep asking about it because Stephen A. Smith might have been right. Watch out East. They're doing well.
They're playing tonight. Don't worry. They're playing the Nets, who suck, so they're probably going to blow them off the court now to listen to it.
Hey, listen, James Harden, real game changer. You argued against it, but it looks like he is.
I can't wait to shake my ass on here when they get knocked out of the playoffs.
Mr. Marceau, fresh fade and all, shaking ass here on WrestleRant Radio. Only here on WrestleRant Radio on Thursdays, folks. This is what you're missing out on. Fernando said, Dynamite's on such a hot streak, according to those who are willing to admit that. I think the show's been fine. I don't know if it's on a hot streak necessarily, but it's had some great stuff. And I've said this before. I think the best part about Dynamite right now is the world title scene. Everything relating to the world title scene has been great. Last night's show, in the middle of it, with the Ishii stuff, the four-way was fine. Like, Kevin Knight faced Beast Mortos. I know if Mortos won, they would have gotten a six-man tag title shot. His faction would have gotten a six-man title shot with Guevara and Rush and whatever. Didn't really care about most of that. It was kind of just there. Didn't really give a shit. But I thought the world title scene stuff was great. And like Moxley's shit, I don't care. I don't care. The Death Riders versus the Don Callis family, which I know you're a member of.
Like I said, Tony's booking this for me to be pissed off the rip every single week. We get Moxley off the rip every week. I turn the show on and I get the stupid Death Rider music. And then here comes Moxley every week. Since I started watching, every first match has been Moxley.
Yeah, no, I think he's definitely doing that on purpose. Probably just for your own detriment, to be honest. But the matches are fine. The matches aren't bad. One, I just don't really care just because I know he's probably not losing. I don't care about Mark Davis.
But he faced Mark Davis last night in the Eliminator thing to me is just the dumbest concept ever. So if you beat him, then you get another rematch? No, he's the champion. You should beat him, you get the belt.
Yeah, I should have just been for the belt, yeah.
Beat him. He faced someone a couple weeks ago on the same thing. I can't think of who it was.
I think it was Ace Austin, I think.
Yeah, I did face Ace Austin. He's not winning. Guess what? He didn't win. I feel like it's like maybe like, the thought he can lose. He's not going to lose these guys. And like you said, it was a fine match. He tapped them out in 15 minutes and we moved on.
Yeah. No, I just also, the Eliminator thing alone is dumb, but I just don't like Moxley in that role because I just don't think he's all that interesting right now. I mean, is he a face? Is he a heel? You have Yuta out there getting his head shaved and he's a heel, but Moxley's a face. It's just confusing and I just don't care. But the world title scene stuff, like I said, has been great. Grunt said, who is here? I meant you say his name and he appears. He actually is here in the chat. He said, when Danhausen pops out of the crate to cost Balor the title, it's going to be pure cinema. I actually do. I mean, RJ will not agree. If it was Danhausen, that would be fucking crazy. I mean, I think that'd be awesome. I love Danhausen.
That would be so bad. It's not even funny.
I don't think he's in the crate, but I'm just saying. I don't think he's even gone from AEW, but it's the same thing with the Jericho thing, which we'll get into. But I would love to see Danhausen in the company. I think that'd be entertaining, but I probably am in the minority on that. I know Mr. Marceau's not.
Thank you.
He also said, actually haven't seen Dynamite yet. I've actually fallen behind a bit. Grunt, what's going on? He said, still got to watch last week's Dynamite in Grand Slam, Australia. I did think that was a good show, Grunt, so I will say that. But he said, I have heard about Hangman pulling a Cody, which is a choice. Yes, I will get to that a little bit later on. He also said, apparently a lot of Dynamite had to be rewritten because of illness and injuries coming out of Grand Slam, Australia, which is unfortunate. That would make sense.
That's normal weekly television, brother.
What'd you say?
I said they have weekly injuries every week now, so that's just normal TV for Tony.
No, yeah, I mean, that's just par for the course for them, to be honest with you. I mean, I thought last night's show was fine, but that would make sense with a lot of the stuff that happened in the middle of the show that just kind of felt random and nothing overly interesting there. But I thought the stuff that did matter on the show was great, and that made the show worthwhile for me personally. But let's get into this Ronda Rousey story, Mr. Marceau. Let's get into this first. I got to get your thoughts on this. She's coming back, not to WWE, but to MMA for a grand Netflix special, you guessed it, to face Gina Carano, who I guess is 40-something years old. Someone told me that in the chat the other day. A very notable MMA fighter. They're both coming out of retirement to face each other for an upcoming Netflix fight. Now, if this sounds familiar, it's because we've seen a lot of it in the last few years with Tyson and Jake Paul. They're doing another one. I mean, we could talk about this too. Mayweather and Mike Tyson, they're doing that. That's an MMA, that's a boxing fight. But still, it's just the idea of, pay big money. You're not paying big money. It's $10 on Netflix. But, they're paying big money to these fighters and to these MMA fighters to come out of retirement for these big buzzworthy fights. And a lot of them just don't end up being all that great. They're not all that they crack out to be. Obviously, I mean, how could they live up to the hype? And it's just a cash grab. We found that out with the Tyson Paul thing, which a lot of people knew kind of going into it. And honestly, this doesn't really look much different. And I would probably assume that you would agree. So give me your thoughts on the news that Ronda Rousey is coming out of MMA for the first time in a decade.
Yeah, no, when I saw this other day, honestly, at first, I just belly laughed at first. It's just, I just don't understand, like, the hype around it. Like, yes, almost 20 years ago, Gina Carano was, like, the pioneer of
Wrestling
women's
fans,
MMA. And then, obviously, 5 years later, Ronda
Wrestling
Rousey kind of
fans.
in her glory. They had talks in 2014 to do this fight in UFC, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
Okay, that was 12 years ago. Gina's been retired since 2009. Ronda's been retired since 2015. They both have fought in over almost 15 to 10 years collectively. Now they're coming back to fight on this Netflix special. MVP boxing, now I guess MVP MMA is promoting it. But like people like in the MMA space are like, oh my, UFC must be freaking, like, why would the UFC care? The only reason they would care is if then MVP, like you said, this is going to make Ronda and Gina Carano a ton of money because it's going to be on Netflix and they're just going to get paid a lot. But like, it isn't like, it's just two old people fighting. It's no different than when Tito Ortiz fought Chuck Liddell a couple of years ago, but that was on Golden Boy, and like it wasn't obviously on the Netflix banner, so it wasn't that big. So this seems bigger, but like the only thing that should worry the UFC is like if this is like a success, which I mean, they'll make a lot of money, so I guess that'll be a success. But like if they like got Conor McGregor to come over instead of going back to the UFC, that's the only difference. Like this isn't going to be like a competitor to them. I just think it's like a big money grab for Carano and Rousey. That's kind of just what MVP does. Like Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua, like these aren't great fights. They're just making these people a lot more money they would than like if Ronda and them came to the UFC, they'd make a significantly less amount of money. So I get it at that sport, but it's not like they're making it a way bigger thing. That's gonna be like you said, all those boxing fights they've had, none of them have been good. No. Like maybe honestly, the undercard fights are usually pretty decent because it's like two people at the same skill set. You're putting them like Jake Paul versus some fucking has-been, okay? And then you put him against Anthony Joshua, legit boxing, got knocked out. Like, that's the thing that's so dumb. It's like the co-main events are usually like two literally legit boxers that have a good fight. But the rest of it's like old MMA fighters or just like personality. So we'll see who else on the card. I assume it's going to be other like older MMA fighters will be on the undercard. They're fighting in a hexagon, which is a little bit different as well. UFC is obviously the octagon, so it's going to be a little bit smaller. But I expect other older popular UFC fighters or MMA fighters will be on the undercard, but like I said, I think it's just a cash grab for the two in the main. I mean, Netflix seems to love these like dream fights. Yeah. But the dream is such a broad term because these people are so far out. Like people will be like, oh, it's like imagine if it was like Mickey Mantle facing off against Shohei Ohtani nowadays. Like that sounds great until you get it. Like
in their prime, yeah, sure, but they're not.
Prime. Okay, I get that, but like these people are so past their prime. That's like saying, "Oh, I wonder what it'd be to get Rock and Stone Cold one more time." That's what this is. This is like getting Rock and Stone Cold next year at WrestleMania. It's gonna be a disaster. Like, yeah, it's just it's like you said, it's a dream fight, and Netflix seems to be big on those, but it's not gonna be good content.
You know what a prime example would be wrestling related that you just mentioned, Rock and Stone Cold? I actually think that would be better than what I'm thinking in my mind. WWE literally did this 8 years ago at Crown Jewel. Generation X, one of the greatest stables of all time, against the Brothers of Destruction, and it was absolute ass cheeks. It was so bad. That was one of the worst matches I think I've ever seen.
That's what this is going to
be. Well, I don't know if this is going to be as bad necessarily, but like a couple questions. Does UFC, I know this isn't UFC, you said this was MVP. Does UFC book novelty fights with like old timers and stuff? They just go off the current shit, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Do you think they should? I know you don't want to see it.
No, they're like a legitimate organization. You really can't book. Like you said, you can't really book like novelty fights at this point. Like besides like McGregor fighting one more time, I think like that's probably the closest you're gonna get to like a novelty fight. I still think not that he's in his prime, but I think he's closer than obviously these two are. Yeah. But like besides that, they're pretty like it's like a current league. They can't be like booking like old dream matches, I guess.
Yeah, and they have to know, I mean, as I think you were also implying there as well, this stuff runs out eventually, right? I mean, this seems to be the new phase of like, we're getting way more. It's not like we've never gotten this sort of stuff because, I mean, we had Mayweather and Pacquiao about 10 years ago, and that was a big deal. That was better than the Tyson-Paul fight. I remember. I watched both.
But they were both like legit boxers at one point.
Yeah, exactly, and they were also younger at that point, I believe, as well, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, this trend has to die out eventually, right? Where people are like, I'm not just going to pay money for this shit. Or do you think people will always be dumb to pay money to watch this shit?
The problem is, I don't know who's attending these fights. Seems like a lot of like influencers, the ones that are going to this. So like they're going there obviously for the content.
Yep.
It's on Netflix, like you said. It's just so many people have Netflix. Like to them, it's like, oh my god, all these people watch it. But like everyone has Netflix. If you're just on a Saturday night and you see it, you're like, oh, might as well just turn it on. It's not like you're paying additional money for it. So like stuff like this, I feel like can't like in a sense fail. But like I've said that about the Jake Paul fights. I'm like, how do people keep buying into this? Like it's not like it's like more of like a circus. Like he's not like a legitimate boxer. Then he finally fought one, which everyone knew he was gonna get knocked out. And they're like trying to like, oh, he's not gonna. I'm like,
yeah.
It's just like I figured that eventually that would have died off already, and it still hasn't. So who knows? I just think, like you said, without the extra paywall, I think it's more of a viewing thing. If they like, you got to pay like $60 to watch, I think it would do pretty bad.
Yeah, but since it's already on Netflix anyway, which most people already have, I mean, they're going to keep doing it. If they keep seeing like, if it keeps paying dividends the way it has been, then they're just going to keep doing it for as long as they can, which I probably see going on for a while, unfortunately. But you mentioned earlier the undercard could be some old fighters being brought back as well for other fights. I thought that would just be reserved for the main event because, I mean, some of these other fights that you mentioned, they had current people in their prime, which ended up being better than the main event. Do you think for this Ronda Carano one, they would bring back old people for the undercard too?
Yeah, because all these other people are going to be under contract with different companies.
Oh, okay.
Boxing's a little bit differently. Like you can kind of move around. Like there's not like a one promotion they all fight for, so it's a little bit different. Like obviously UFC people are signed UFC, PFLs, like the second tier. So like they'd have to pretty much get like retired people or like up and coming people.
Who are we talking here? Cain Velasquez, who's behind bars or something?
He just got out.
Really? Oh wow.
I could see like Nate Diaz being on the card. I mean, he's someone I could see they could go after him, Jorge Masvidal. Just guys that are like somewhat popular still in the mainstream that aren't back in UFC, but are like still popular enough that they could get on there.
The Tyson Paul one was just embarrassing. Do you think this one will at least be decent, or do you think it'll just be bad?
I don't know. I just don't. Like you said, she's much older, and it's like if they get past the first couple of rounds, like are they just going to be just like? I think like I just at that age you're just not going to be like peak for like they're doing 5-minute rounds. Like I just could see them just gassing out. And it could be like a disaster. Like I hope it's decent. I just don't think it really like the problem with this too. There's no like. There's no follow-up. Like Gina wins or Ronda wins, now what? Nothing. It just is what it is. It's not like I feel like that's the thing. There's no actual payoff. Like if they even had a good fight, there's no like they're not coming back to the UFC. It's like you said, it's like a novelty thing. But like it could either they have a good fight and we just like, oh, Ronda Rousey won this random fight and that's her end of her MMA career, or like this is a fucking train wreck and let's look what happened.
You don't think UFC would be mildly interested in bringing her in if she did decently enough and they're like, hey, maybe we could actually use her?
Dude, she would get destroyed by the fucking profit women now. She's just, dude, she got destroyed at the end of her career.
No, I remember. Yeah, I watched those fights.
That was 10 years ago. She's clearly slower and just not what well, how old is she? 39 years old. She would get destroyed.
Yeah, I would probably say so as well. On the subject of novelty fights, Eric said, didn't Punk have 2 UFC fights? I wouldn't call those.
Golly, those were bad.
Those were bad, but also they weren't the main event, and it wasn't like this sort of thing. Event. And he also lost.
Signed with the UFC. He was signed with the UFC.
Yeah, but I mean, so it's not like they're immune to signing people. Like the Punk thing, they only signed him obviously because he didn't have experience. They signed him because he was a big name, but they gave him 2 shots, including one time in Chicago. He failed. I mean, I appreciate his hard work. I've said that before. I supported it, whatever. I give him a lot of credit. But it's not like they continued paying him. He was in the UFC for a few years, but he only had 2 fights, and then he lost, and that was it. I think Dana White was like, we can't keep doing this, which makes sense. It's not like they kept putting him in main events or something.
Yeah, exactly. They did bring Brock back.
They did.
And, like, I guess that's a novelty thing, but, like, he also, like, he won. I mean,
yeah.
He also popped fucking for steroids, but hey, he still won. Like he was like a different, like you said, like even him, like he obviously was wrestling, had a few amateur fights, few like pro belts that weren't in the UFC. They brought him in, and then like obviously became the biggest draw pretty much of MMA history. But like they said, the Punk thing, like they signed him, they gave him 2 years to train. It just didn't work out, and he lost, and obviously he's back in WWE. But like you said, it's not like they just brought him in with no MMA experience and like, hey, here you go. Like you said, you're in the main event in Chicago and you just got destroyed.
No, he faced people that would be of not of equal value. I mean, the people that he
Equal,
faced,
like, experience, pretty much.
they had experience, but they were lower level guys in the UFC at that point, and they still beat him. And it's like, okay, if he can't win, then then he won't work out. And that's exactly what happened. Fernando even said, let's not make excuses. Punk was a huge failure in the UFC. He was. I mean, no, I'm just saying I give him credit for even trying, but it was absolutely a failure. He went in, tried it twice, didn't look great in there, got destroyed, and that was the end of it. And then he ended right back up in wrestling soon after, which is where and now he's the world heavyweight champion. But speaking of Fernando, he said at the beginning of the show, we'll end with this on this subject. Who wins, Ronda or Carano?
It's a great question. I'm gonna say Carano. I just think she's just overall a better fighter than Ronda was. Ronda's thing was like she was kind of just like a one-trick pony. She just did the arm bar and she judo throw someone. I mean, her 2 losses were like actual stand-up fights, and she got knocked down both of them. The Holly Holm one was what it was. The Nunes one was just sad to see her in there with like an actual striker. So I'll go Carano. I mean, she's a lot older, but I'm just gonna go Gina just because I don't know. I don't really like Ronda, so I'm gonna go Gina.
Yeah, she doesn't come off well on a lot of the stuff that she does with interviews and just in general. So I can totally understand that. But I likely will I don't want to watch because I don't want to make this. I don't want to be part of the problem. So let's put it that way. I'll see the clips on Twitter. I'll see her ass get knocked out, or unless she wins, good for her. But either way, keep her away from WWE, and I'm content. We did that. We went to that well twice. It was great the first time. The second time, not so much. We were there for her final WWE match against Shayna. That MMA Fight Rules or whatever it was, and it was a disaster. No one gave a shit. Mr. Marceau marking out in the crowd. This is great.
Going nuts.
Put over Shayna, who doesn't even work there anymore. Yeah, Fernando said Gina is a little more skilled and has a size advantage. All right, there you go. I'll go Gina too. I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I'll go Gina as well. Because I saw that last Rousey fight that you mentioned a decade ago, and it did not end well. It was terrible. Also want to mention this as well. Announced this past week, now made official, WWE new PLE, May 31st. We already know on May 9th, which I believe is a Saturday, they're doing Backlash in Tampa. New PLE announced for the end of the month. This is a Sunday. Not sure why they're doing Sunday instead of Saturday. Maybe there's something else going on.
The UFC's probably on Sunday.
Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah, that would make sense then. I would have to look it up. But, yeah. Would it matter, though? Because this PLE will be at 1 o'clock. It's WWE Clash in Italy. So it would be in the afternoon if there was a UFC pay-per-view at night. So
could be during the day, I don't know.
It could be, yeah, depending on where it is. But yeah, they're doing Clash in Italy. We talked about this a little while ago as far as the rumors of a PLE coming to Italy at some point. We thought it would be Backlash. Instead, they just waited until the end of the month. They're doing a separate PLE there instead. So thoughts on the news, Mr. Marceau?
No, I mean, I guess they're just riding the wave of the Olympics, huh? I mean,
oh yeah, the Olympics are there.
Italy should be pretty good.
Yeah, makes sense.
When's the show again? You said
May 31st.
When's the show? Yeah, the UFC's in China. That on May 30th. So yeah, that's why probably.
Okay, well there you go. That makes sense.
No, I like it. I think it's new. Like I said, they're I'm assuming going off the buzz of the Olympics that's in Milan right now, Italy. So, I mean, it's definitely not France. I kind of like that it's in May. I didn't like how they did like Clash in Paris and the other ones right after SummerSlam. It was like weeks later. It's like,
yeah,
you have nothing progressed. Like why? Or just pretty much rematch city. But no, I like it. I think it should be interesting. I don't love that they keep kind of overbooking their schedule, but I mean, if you can sell stadiums out with 4 matches, then keep doing it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, no, keep doing it. I think they actually kind of swapped the PLEs this year because you mentioned how in years past, including last year, they did Clash in Paris right after SummerSlam. This year, it's Money in the Bank right after SummerSlam. That's like the first PLE right after SummerSlam. So, and then they have this in late May, early June, whatever. So that would make sense. Any chance, I know she's not exactly the best booked person on the show. We've talked about her a lot here on the show. The Women's United States Champion, Giulia. Does she end up in a match on the show at all? Does she challenge for the women's title being from Italy?
They would have to like severely change her booking. I mean, I really like Giulia. I kind of went on a rant. I don't know if it was last week, the week before, but I mean, I think she should be like at that level or can be at that level on in ring wise. Obviously on the mic, she's not the greatest, but I also think like I said, they've kind of gone straight to the Japanese route with her. I think her English is a lot better than they're kind of giving her credit for. So maybe eventually she does turn from whoever the fuck she's with. Can't even think of her name on the top of my head.
Oh, Kiana James, yeah.
Kiana James. I was going to say Kalani James. Maybe eventually when they break her up, we kind of then see her as someone that can talk a lot better. But, I mean, I think at that point, depending on the booking, she could get to that level. I mean, it depends on who's the women's champion at that point. We still don't even know who's wrestling for the women's championship at WrestleMania. So I guess we'll see. But, I mean, I think she should be on there. I mean,
I think it would, and she has to be on that show. If she can't even make it in her home country, she might as well pack it up and just go back to Stardom or wherever she was before, because that would just be terrible. I know they're doing like 4 or 5 match PLEs now, but like, and it was good. I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but they got Doudrop on one of these shows, who has never really been, I don't think she's had singles matches on pay-per-views before against Becky at the Rumble a few years ago, but they got her on a PLE in Scotland. I think it was Clash in Wales, yeah. Oh, no, I think it was
Scotland. Maybe it was Scotland.
Yeah. Cardiff.
Cardiff. Yeah.
Cardiff. Yeah, that was the first one, and then the second one they did in somewhere in Scotland. I forget, but she was on that one against Bayley for the title. That's where Isla Dawn and Alba Fire won the tag titles for like 2 months before they took the tag titles off of them, and then one of them got fired. So it was a nice moment, but it was kind of random. Nonetheless, though, I could see them doing that with Giulia. Maybe if Jade's still champion, or we don't know who she's facing at Mania, like you said. We'll see, but I hope she would get on that show. That would only make sense. Now, talking about Raw from this past week. Clash and Castle in Scotland. Thank you, Noob. I appreciate that. But
I literally pulled it up, and I see it here. Yeah, Doudrop. Bayley beat Piper. She was Piper Niven.
Piper Niven. Yeah. Why am I saying Doudrop? She's not. She hasn't been Doudrop in years.
Buddy.
Why? What am I, Vince McMahon? Fucking Doudrop. Why did I say that? Is she's Piper? I know she's not on the show right now, but she hasn't been Doudrop in like 4 years. That makes no sense. I'm still stuck in the Vince McMahon WWE mindset. Daniel Malcolm, what's going on, brother? Thanks for joining. Jesus Christ. What am I going to call? What's another name that I could? Austin Theory? No, there's got to be another one.
I saw it on. Well, you're talking about Raw. Shorty G was on Raw, right? I saw him.
Shorty G was on Raw to the mask, but Shorty G was there. That's a good comparison. But yeah, talking about Raw from this past week, leading story coming out of the show. I mean, I thought it was a fine show. This crowd sucked. I mean, it wasn't the most exciting.
Where were they?
Memphis.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Is that? I mean, as someone who knows the territories way better than I do, is Memphis? I mean, I know obviously Jerry Lawler territory. Good town.
I was gonna say, I wrote it down. Hey, WWE never could draw well when Lawler wasn't on the card. So no Lawler. No good crowd.
Makes sense. King of the territories himself.
You need Lawler on Memphis, or you're not going to draw well.
Not going to draw shit. Not going to draw a dime without Lawler on the card in Memphis. I hear you.
So WCW can draw without Lawler. No one could.
The crowd sucked on Monday, but I didn't think the show was awful. I just, it wasn't the most exciting episode. But, it's not the most exciting episode when what people are talking about more than anything coming out of the episode is about a box that says do not open until February 28th, 2026, which is the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view next Saturday. This screams Bruce Pritchard. I mean, this is like gobbledygooker all over again from 35, 40 years ago. I'm not saying it's a terrible idea, but I'm just like, can we not come up with something more creative? Now, we don't know what's in the box, and that's my question for you.
There you go.
To quote Seven, the movie Seven, which was awesome. I watched it a few months ago. What's in the box? Maybe it ends up being great. I don't have the highest of hopes. I mean, it's WWE creative in 2026. Fernando yelled puppies in the chat to quote Jerry Lawler. So there you go. Jerry Lawler's burners in the chat. What's in the box, Mr. Marceau, before we go any further with it?
I have no idea, honestly. It's a great question. I mean, people speculating Jericho, then of course came out like seconds later, somehow report that he's still an AEW contract. He was frozen for taking time off, so it can't be Jericho, I guess, or poo-pooing the idea of Jericho. I don't know. I assume it's a wrestler. I don't really know who else could really be in the box. Obviously, I don't know. Like you said, it's not the most creative idea, but it does get people talking. Like you said, it's stupid and it's like a corny way to get people interested, because obviously you're seeing, so the thought is, what's in the box? What could be in the box? Who knows what's in the box? You're thinking it could be a person, it could be something else. I don't know what else it would really be, but like, I don't know who else like could be in the box. That's the thing. It's like, I don't know who it could be. So I think it brings intrigue, but it is like you said, not the most creative thing of all time, but it does get people talking.
No, I mean, we're talking about it right now. So, I mean, it gets people talking for sure. I don't know. I mean, it would have to be a wrestler, because if it was an item, what could it be? A new fucking championship? That's the last thing that we need in this company. A gimmick for WrestleMania. They're bringing back the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal Trophy. It's like, we know we get that every year. So if that's what it is, that's absolute garbage. I don't know. It's got to be an item of some sort, because a wrestler theoretically being in the box for 2 weeks without food or water and just sitting in the box would make no sense. I mean, it screams a Jericho idea to me. I'm not saying Jericho's in the box, but it could be like, as someone had said elsewhere, like his jacket or something like that, or the list of Jericho or whatever, and then he comes out. I did see the report after the fact. I know Sean had said on Tuesday, new report coming on Jericho, and then I didn't see it because I wasn't on social media on Tuesday. So I saw it yesterday, and it said exactly
what. I'm going to let him know that Jericho's frozen.
There you go. And they basically, what happened was what the report indicated, which is what you kind of just said, that his contract is frozen because of all the time that he missed. Now, I'm not saying they're wrong. That may have been what they were told. I call bullshit on that, and here's why. Because, so he took time off after April of last year. That's when he dropped the Ring of Honor Championship. We were told by all accounts, including by Tony Khan himself, that he was not on the show, not because he was hurt or because he went to tour, because creatively, they thought it would make the most sense for him not to be on the show. So it was a mutual decision, from what we all understand publicly, what has been said publicly, for him to not be on AEW television. And he never came back.
Okay.
They've been in Canada.
Okay, that sounds right.
No, I'm just saying, like, I just feel like, I'm not saying
you can't. No, you're saying that you can't add someone's contract more time if you were the one to decide to not put him on TV.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm just saying, I feel like they could have been fed. They have a very good track record, so I'd be very surprised if they didn't make this up. Obviously, they heard this from somewhere. I just read that, and I'm like, that just doesn't make sense, because why wouldn't they have brought him back by now? It's been almost a year. Why would they freeze his contract for time that they had? Like, also, Tony had said in the interview with Ariel a few months ago, he made it sound like they couldn't come to terms on dates. Like, that was the end of the amount of dates that he could work. He had no more dates to work. Why would they? Then they can't bring him back. Okay. Why would they then freeze his contract? I read that and think that's a red herring. I'm not saying he's at Chamber, but I read that and I'm like, that just doesn't really make sense. That just sounds like bullshit to me. And I don't know. Like, I know he's still on the website. Apparently, he's still under contract with the company. Why, though? Like, Jericho and Tony Khan have a great relationship. Would they not have worked something out or to allow Jericho to leave? As he let Ricky Starks go and all these other people go who are not as big of deals as Jericho. I get that. I don't know. There's just something about this just sounds weird. It just sounds like a Jericho thing to kind of not manipulate you, but to trick you into thinking, oh, I still work here, but I'm going to show up there. Like, he wasn't at the Rumble like we thought. Okay, he won't be a Chamber because we think he works in AEW, but he's actually going to show up because he's not under contract. Like, it just sounds like a big thing. Like, otherwise, why wouldn't he have clarified by now publicly, hey, I can't leave? Like, it just sounds weird to me. Does it not sound weird to you too?
It does. I mean, like you said, maybe it's not him. I mean, I think that's like the rumor it's him, but I guess it could be someone else.
Yeah.
Like I said, it does feel like a very old, so like I said, Bruce Pritchard specifically, it's like an older thing that they use, like who's in the box. Like I said, I think it's older. It could be Jericho. Like maybe it's Bianca Belair. We think she's injured. The Elimination Chamber comes out. She comes out of the box. She's stronger, bigger, faster than she's ever before. She breaks out of the fucking box. Who knows? She says she had another surgery. I mean, that finger must be the most fucked up finger in the world because she's been out for almost a year now. I don't know what's wrong. So maybe that's that. Maybe it's her. Maybe it's Brock. I don't love if it was Brock, but maybe it's Brock Lesnar. Maybe he's busting out of the box. Who knows? But I mean, I think it is someone. To me, I don't want to see Jericho back, so I hope it's not him. I don't need to see Jericho. I signed up for him on AEW to not want to see him on WWE. Obviously, it'd be a little bit different, but I'm all set with it. But I think it's going to be someone, like you said, maybe if it's like you said, maybe if it's Jericho, it is like his jacket on the list or something. But like, how do you even they crack it open and just sitting there? Like, I don't know.
I don't know. It's a weird situation. Bianca would be a great choice. I honestly wasn't thinking about that, but that's also worth mentioning. So she had posted on IG on Sunday, getting surgery tomorrow, and I'm thinking, bullshit. You're just saying that. You're not getting surgery. And then I saw her post a picture of her getting surgery. I'm like, fuck. I think she probably got surgery. But
Do you have a receipt on that? Do you have a receipt on that picture?
I was going to say, it could be an old picture. Is she really, I'm not saying she's dumb, but is she really like that? Because she could have just said nothing. You know what I mean? Because people already thought she'd be back at the Rumble. I thought she'd be back at the Rumble, and then she wasn't.
Yeah, but then she hasn't been, so then she's throwing in your head like, oh, I'm still injured, so that's why I'm not back.
So then I guess that begs the question. Let's say Bianca's in the box, which would be great. Bust out of the box, like you said. That would be like a fucking, like the Kool-Aid man, like fucking busting out of the box. How do you then get her in the chamber to face Jade at Mania? Because she's not in the chamber.
Someone gets attacked. Can't make it out there. They need another person. She busts out of the box.
I love the bust out of the box. Yeah.
Dude, she's gonna fucking. It's like when they had the big show down in the Rumble and just blows everyone over. She's just gonna blow the doors down of the box and come out.
I mean, that would probably be the best theory. The Jericho thing to me makes the most sense. I'm not saying it is. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you who I think it is because I genuinely have no idea. And I like that.
You make me look like the idiot then.
What'd you say?
You said that you're not going to give an opinion, so now I look like the idiot.
Yeah, no, but I think that's a better choice because apparently Jericho's under contract. I don't know, and I'm glad we don't know. I like the unpredictability. Even the idea is goofy.
I already have written down Bianca's blowing the box out.
I'll text you that day when it ends up being, wait, let me check my notes, Danhausen instead.
Oh my God, it'd be so dumb.
That's what Fernando said in the chat. Hey, I would pop big. But then also, here's the thing too. Just to be devil's advocate on that idea. I know you hate the idea anyway. But just to kind of go along, even though you hate the idea regardless, I love the idea. Where would that even go? Like, what would Danhausen even do at WrestleMania that would make it worth the hype of, oh, we're going to build up this big box? It's not like the gobbledygooker went on to challenge for the world title of WrestleMania. That idea was dumb too. You're going to build up this big mystery, and then it ends up being a comedy character who's going to do what at Mania? Challenge for the fucking WWE title? Like, obviously not. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Noop said Bianca Belair attacks Rhea or Io to take their place. Okay, but then Bianca's a heel. I've seen people say this too, by the way. Bianca's going to come back for revenge on Rhea or Io because they injured her at Mania. Does anyone honestly think of the finger injury as like, oh, they put her on the shelf? It was an accident. Like, they didn't attack her.
No, like you said, I think someone's going to get knocked out and then she's going to be the one to replace them.
I would love to see it.
Busting out of the box.
Busting out of the box. I mean, Fernando said in the chat as well, The Rock, hey, pivot. We haven't seen him since Chamber last year.
You just come out then.
That would just be awful. I mean, it could
Unless
be.
it's another member of the Anoa'i family, then no thank you.
I mean, they've also done all these call-ups recently, so I don't think it's like Tony D'Angelo or someone from NXT. Like, I mean, Tony, that would be awful anyway. But I'm just saying, it's not like there's anyone from NXT. They've already called up like 6 people in the last 2 months.
Yeah, it's not like Oba's coming out of the box. We've seen him on SmackDown and Raw.
Exactly. Yeah, that makes more sense. Oh God. Grunt says Austin Theory opens the crate and it's Vince McMahon saying, "It's me, Austin. It was me all along, Austin."
No, thank you.
Vince, no chance in hell. Could be. You never know. You never know. Yeah, Fernando said the Jericho frozen contract is payback for the Andrade BS WWE pulled when he turned back up in AEW. I don't think so. I don't really think one has to do with the other. I mean, the Andrade shit was stupid, but I don't think they're trying to get back. Like, I mean, the AEW's freezing his contract on purpose. That'd be dumb. What if it's Paige? Yeah, I mean, I mentioned this the other day. I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
The Love Paige would love to see her back, but okay, comes out of the box to do what? World titles are already accounted for. She's not facing friggin' Rhea Ripley at Mania. That's not exactly a marquee match anyway, a Mania-worthy match. So probably not. And at Give Me Back Shots, Solomonster said, we don't know if Jericho actually wants to leave AEW, though. People have just been assuming that. We don't know that as a fact, but why would he want... I mean, I know why he would want to stay for, like, the creative control... But, like, he's got to know Jericho's not a dumb person. I know you don't want to see him back in WWE. But he knows he's 55, 56 years old, however old he is. This is it. Whatever contract he signs, this is it. He's not going to AEW for another 4 years and then coming back when he's 60. The fact that he'd even come back to WWE now, to your credit, is honestly kind of crazy. I mean, he's like well older than Goldberg was when Goldberg came back to the company in 2016. Jericho's even older than that. He could go better than Goldberg did. but like he's old. He's that old. He's still a valuable to them, I think, as far as the legend shit go.
Yeah.
But it's just this is it. Why would you stay in AEW to do what? He's not dumb. He's done a lot of dumb shit with like, oh, the learning tree and all this other nonsense. But come on, man, like he knows this. This is separate from the box, but Jericho's got to know when to go back to WWE, and it's now or never, I think, as far as in-ring wise.
Well, yeah, it's now or never.
Daniel said earlier, member for 8 months, member for 8 months, appreciate that, Daniel. He said, still annoyed that they had Layla tap the other day, LOL. Yeah, we were texting about that. I love the fact that Kalani Jordan tapped her out. Lola Vice on NXT?
Who we didn't talk about that.
No, Daniel texted me about that.
Well, I mean, it made sense. I love Kalani Jordan. So
no, no, I love the fact that Lola is a submission specialist, so Kalani tapping her out, he was upset by. I said, good.
Well, she hurt her hand.
Yeah, it was a good story to tell.
I liked it. And also, she's Latina, so, I mean, we know that, you know. Wait, pop that out for me again. I'm Latina. She does every match. Love it.
Oh, my God. He also said Raw also needed the final boss since Memphis is one of his gazillion adoptive hometowns. Hey, they talked about it in Young Rock. It's from Memphis. That's where he had $7 in his pocket.
Oh, Dwayne.
No, Dwayne, I miss you. Come out from the box. Give me back shot. Salamaster also said Jericho himself might not think this is it, though. LOL. You know, I agree. He also said we expect Jericho to go on a retirement tour when he probably doesn't want that. I agree and I disagree. I think that he probably doesn't think this is it. I agree with that because Jericho thinks he'll wrestle for the next 30 years. Do I think he would come back for a retirement tour? I thought that originally. I don't think that now. I think if he comes back, he's here for like maybe a year or two, maybe 3. It probably should realistically be a retirement tour. One and done at Mania, move on. I don't think he'd want to do that. I think WWE would also be willing to sign him for longer than that. So, yeah, I think he will be back, but it will probably be longer than the road to Mania because it's already mid-April or mid-February, and he wouldn't be around for that much longer. Fernando asked, RJ, if you saw this, what are your thoughts on the Kevin Nash comments on Javon Evans from the other day that caused a big stir on social media?
I think I saw it. Like, I don't know the full quote. It was like,
Yeah.
Can you hit me with it? He says it was like something about Bojangles. I don't even get the reference. I guess something about Bojangles or something.
Yeah, I think yes, I'm not completely familiar with the situation. I am. Mr. Bojangles, I believe, was a black tap dancer way back in like the 40s or 50s or something like that. The comment was basically, it was definitely a racially coded comment. I'm not sitting here saying that Kevin Nash is racist or anything, but it was a very stupid thing to say. Kevin Nash's point was, oh, he's way too happy-go-lucky. Like, he's got to be more mean and aggressive in the ring.
He's a baby face.
He's a baby. He's fucking 21 years old.
I think, honestly, at this point, I think out of any person that's like alumni or anything, I think Kevin Nash is on top of my list of people. I see what he says, and I'm just like, this guy's an idiot, and then I just move on like that.
I mean,
think he's at the point of like shock jockery of just saying stupid shit to say stupid shit.
No, I agree. There are some points. I'm not going to sit here and say everything he says is dumb, but that was a pretty stupid thing to say. And like you said, I don't think these are people that you need to be sitting here listening to for advice or for real valuable analysis. I mean, these are guys that just have a podcast to have a podcast, not because they know exactly what they're talking about. I mean, it's Kevin Nash. I like the guy, but come on, man. That's a pretty dumb thing to say. What would he know about Javon Evans? Kevin Nash is like 60. Come on, man. 65. Stupid. Yeah, Daniel said, I agree. He said, Kevin ain't racist, but that comment was offensive. He also deleted that mid-ass apology. Yeah, no, the comment was totally offensive. It was fucking stupid. Very stupid thing to say. And then I guess he also apologized, which I did miss. And then he fucking deleted it. I mean, the old tweet and delete. Amazing. It's just stupid stuff 101. You say something dumb, you back it up, get backlash, you apologize, but not completely, get more backlash, and then delete. It's like a 6-step process. And he checked every little thing on the list. Also from Raw on Monday, we found out for next Monday, Mr. Marceau, AJ Styles' retirement ceremony. They're going to be in Atlanta, so you're probably, not you, but I'm just thinking, people are thinking, well, why now? Why didn't they do this at the Rumble or the next night or on Raw that Monday? It's because they wanted to wait until they were in Atlanta, where AJ's from. Makes total sense. There were reports that they're flying in people from SmackDown to come pay tribute to AJ. They didn't say this. He has to be there in person. Are they just going to show video packages the whole night? They can't. I mean, he's got to be there. I would have to think to cut a promo or whatever. Maybe they'll announce him for the Hall of Fame. I think that's very possible. But you have a different idea. You think this is going somewhere else, you said. You think he's going to wrestle again. Can you back up that? Can you offer some insight on why you think that is, Mr. Marceau?
Yeah, no, he's still, I guess, technically with the company, seemingly. Like, he did the show with Stephanie. He's coming back on Raw here. I just feel like with Gunther specifically, it seems like he's just kind of like twisting in the wind as we speak. Like, he didn't win the match on Raw. So he's not qualified for the Chamber. Who knows? Yeah. Maybe he gets like a last chance qualifier. They love doing that, putting all the losers in there, and maybe you can win and get in there. But like besides that, it's like, what else do you do? I guess you could do him and Brock, but like I said, I feel like if you're doing him and Brock, it's a retirement match. SummerSlam, Minnesota, makes sense. So then you're like, what do you do with Gunther? I think you have AJ come out. He's on his way out, and Gunther comes out to Crow, and obviously I retire, dude, and then AJ can just say, you talked this big game, but you didn't make me tap out like a little bitch. Because technically he didn't. He passed out. He didn't tap out. You said you could tap me out, and you couldn't do it. And then basically you get there that day for Russell at WrestleMania. You could do a retire match there, and then he taps out AJ at WrestleMania.
I don't like it. I mean, I know he didn't tap him out like you said, but it's like they already said his career was on the line. So you're just going to do it again, and then Gunther beats him again. Gunther gains nothing from beating him again. That's the thing.
Yeah, but at least AJ's last match in the United States on WrestleMania.
Well, that should have been the case from the get-go. They shouldn't have done it at the Rumble.
Then why else are they doing this then?
Because I think just to pay, they didn't do it at the Rumble or on Raw that week. It's basically it's like the Ric Flair leave the memories alone shit, where they did it on Raw that Monday after Mania. They wanted to wait until they were in his hometown, so that's what they're doing. I like that. I really don't think anything comes out of this.
Okay, that's what okay. We'll see.
We'll see. Hey, when he comes out and announces he's coming out of retirement, I'll eat my hat here on the show.
Get ready.
I'll eat crow. I'll be shaking ass, as you said, about when the Cavs come.
Yep.
I will say, I don't think it's like, I do think it will end up being nothing, but I do think Gunther comes out and interrupts. I think that's obvious. It's just more a matter of where they go from there, as far as whether AJ's like, hey, I'll fight you. I mean, Dragon Lee's feuding with Gunther right now, so I think this will also tie into that. And then, they're not doing that at Mania. I know that. Maybe they do it at Chamber. I feel like they'll probably just do it on Raw the following week. But it is interesting. Fernando seems to agree as well. He said earlier, AJ's coming out of retirement, so you're not the only person that thinks that.
Thank you.
It is. It's very interesting. So we'll see. I am curious. I'm looking forward to that show. To also mention this as well, you said maybe Brock comes out of the box. I know your pick is Bianca busting out of the box.
Yeah.
Busting out of the box. Brock is already announced for Raw this coming week. So
he's not. He can't get out of the box. He's already out of the box.
Yeah, he's already out of the box. He can't Brock's not in the box. He's already out. He already broke out of the box. So it can't be him. But on Raw this week, so Brock, unless he attacks someone, will not be in a Chamber qualifier. Thank God, that would be stupid. But instead, we got a couple qualifiers left. On Raw this week, 2 more people qualified. We found out Cody's going to be the Chamber. What did he do? Kind of figured he might. I know you were picking Sammy. Ended up being Cody. I know. I got
that was so bad.
Yeah, I was not a fan of that. Sammy looked like an idiot, but what else is new?
Drew looked like an idiot.
Yeah, Drew looked like an idiot too. Not good, but still. So Cody's in the Chamber. We have Alexa Bliss is in the Women's Chamber. On Raw this week, Asuka's in the Women's Chamber. Another thumbs down. What, did you want Natty in the Chamber?
I think I had Natty winning, didn't I?
You did have Natty winning, actually. I think you did.
I'm like 0 for 3 right now. I'm 0 for 4. I had
you had Gunther winning too.
I had either Dom or Gunther win, yeah.
Yeah, no, I had Javon because I feel like I'm thinking Gunther, I would not put him in the Chamber because I wouldn't want him to get beat at this point. So I had Javon winning, and he did, and he pinned Dom, which was cool. So Asuka, Javon, both in the Chamber. I know you're 0 for 4 here, but what were your thoughts on who qualified this past week?
Yeah, I didn't do great. I mean, I guess like you said, I like Javon. I don't know. I feel like Gunther should be in there. I mean, I just feel like Javon's in there to do the crazy spot that they fucking timestamp and throw it on Instagram and TikTok. But like, okay, cool. He's not winning.
No.
At least there's a chance he could win. Asuka, like I said, I thought it was her and Natty. I couldn't even. Who else? Oh, Baylor's in the match. I just didn't think Baylor was going to win. Natty, they're pushing her. Obviously, do the thing with her and Maxine. But I don't know. I thought they'd push her. Alexa Bliss winning made sense. I would put Giulia there, but they don't know how to book her, so she lost again. I'm pretty sure she got pinned. Made no sense. Whatever.
Yeah.
No,
Actually, it was Zelina that got pinned, not Giulia.
Oh, Zelina, yeah. I forgot her name is Zelina. It's not Zelina Vega. Zelina got pinned.
Yeah.
And then Cody, that was just, I mean, if you want like the classic, how do you like your shit and taste it too? That was that match. They basically just was like, you don't want Cody to win? Well, guess what? Cody's going to win, and we're going to make it so aggravating that Cody's going to win. We're going to throw it in your face that Cody's going to win. Gets fucking attacked. Claymore puts him on. Sammy's about to win. Nope, kicks out. Comes in again, hits him with a chair. Claymore, nope, kicks out. Pops out of the ground like a fucking daisy. Hits Sammy with a fucking the crossroads 1, 2, 3. God, it was infuriating.
So is Cody winning the chamber? I mean, Javon's not winning. Who else do we have in there so far? Randy Orton, he's not winning.
Randy Orton's not winning.
Randy Orton's not winning. Who else qualified from Raw last week? I don't remember.
I'm pulling it up.
Oh my God.
I had to pull it up and I took it down. That's how much we care. We don't even know. Randy Orton, LA Knight not winning.
No. So it's Cody.
And then this week it's either Carmelo, Priest, and Trick Williams. Probably Trick, but he's not winning.
Nope.
And then Bronson Reed, Uso, and El Grande. So Reed's probably winning. Who's not winning? Yeah, so Cody's going to win the chamber.
Don't tell me we're getting Cody and Drew one-on-one. I mean, we can. Fatu's got to be in that match.
Let's go, Cody!
Well, we got two chats here. One on the AJ Styles front, one from Fernando. He said AJ Styles being added to the main event for one night, Mick Foley style. First of all, whatever AJ were to do at Mania, even if Mr. Marceau was right, it would not be the main event of WrestleMania. The Mick Foley thing was dumb alone in 2000. They're not doing that again. But I can see, I appreciate the comparison. And then we have another chat from at not Give Me Back Shots Solomonster, but at Give Me Back Shots Marceau. That's what it says. They said, felt like we were getting into Super Cody territory on Friday with that finish.
Dude, it was literally like, I've said this the last couple of weeks. I'm getting Cody fatigue. That was like Cody fatigue. You like Cody? You don't like Cody that much? Well, guess what? We're going to make you hate him even more. That was the 2010 Super Cena, like, you want to see Cena lose? Well, guess what? We're going to give it to you, and then we're going to pull the rug out of you, and you're going to like how it tastes. Yeah. It was brutal.
Fatu's got to be added, though. I mean, I didn't love it, but I'm like, I figured Cody would win. I told you that last week. I figured Cody would win. I think it makes more sense for Cody to win the chamber and then Fatu gets added, because if Fatu won the chamber and Cody got added, people would be even more upset. Like, oh, how does he get another shot?
Yeah, but like I said, the point I have, and it's going to happen, the dumb thing is going to happen. They're going to add, so Cody's going to win the chamber, and then what's going to happen is like Fatu's going to beat up Drew. He's going to beat up Cody, and they're going to be so stupid and be like, add him in the match.
Yeah.
Like, that's just so dumb and lazy. Like I said, at that point, anyone else that wants a championship match, just go out and just beat everybody up, and they'll just add you.
Yeah. I
feel like they did that like recently too. They did that within the last year or two. Someone that got added to Triple Threat, and it was that specific reason. I can't think of who it was, but it was something like that. Like they just like beat people up and they're like, add them to the match.
Man, it's so lazy. I mean,
there was something with Cody. It had to have been Cody because Cody's like, yeah, I'm gonna fight him.
Yeah, no, they do that, but they also have done that. I don't know what's lazier, that or like when they have a number one contenders match and then the champion attacks both of them and he's like, well, I don't have to face anyone because I attacked both of them. And they're like, no, you have to face, now it's a triple threat.
Face both of them.
That's so lazy. But yeah, it's a terrible way to get to that match, but listen, I'll take it. As long as Fatu's in there, Drew and Cody again is terrible.
Terrible. It is terrible, but just terrible creative.
The whole thing is lazy, but I'd rather have at least Fatu's in there. I will say that.
I'm finding this out. I'm looking it up.
Okay, so here's what Fernando said. Fernando said, I like this, Fernando, but I don't know how you get there. He says, Jacob versus Drew. Randy turns on Cody, and you have a match at Mania. I agree, but they kind of fucked that up on Friday.
That's not happening.
How would you get to Drew versus Jacob if Jacob's not in the chamber? Maybe he'll take someone's spot, but like, that's not going to happen. I wish it would, but then Cody's going to win the chamber, so then how do you get to Jacob and Drew and Cody's not involved? That just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like you said, I like that. It's just not going to happen.
Get it? It just doesn't make sense. I would not do that personally. I think that'd be stupid. And As far as, I mean, the triple threat thing is dumb to even get there, but at least we get the match. At least we get the match. So I'm hoping they do that, but I am not optimistic. I just feel like, here's another thing, dude. Cody wins the Chamber. Where is that show? Chicago. You're telling me he wouldn't get booed in Chicago if he won that Chamber? They'd fucking boo him out of the building like they did with Cena all those times.
That's what it is. Who else is going to win, though? That's the thing. No one else on there makes sense to win.
No one makes sense to win. We're stuck in a terrible situation because it really should have been Fatu in the Chamber. At least, it's predictable. Fatu wins. But okay, Fatu winning is cool. Cody winning again is not good. We already saw him in Drew like 3 times, bro, including a 3 Stages of Hell match. You're going to do 3 Stages of Hell and then they fight in a standard singles match? What the fuck is that?
Tony Khan booking.
What'd you say? Yeah,
it's Tony Khan booking.
That's
Start
Vince
off with a
booking,
street
too.
Fight and then face a fucking single match.
No, it's dumb. Give Me Backshots Marceau said, did you guys see Cena said that he was going to beat Roman at SummerSlam 2021 before Brock came back day of? Is that true? I didn't see that. That would be stupid.
Yeah, he said like he was going to beat Roman and then like something else. I'm like, that would just been dumb.
That would be awful.
Thank God it didn't happen.
No, that would have, you know how many years of storytelling that would have ruined?
A lot.
Roman would not have held the belt for a full year at that point, and he would have lost the belt. That would have been terrible. Cena, for what? What? But here's I can't even say I believe that, okay? Because I remember Cena's schedule that summer. He was only ever planned to be there through SummerSlam and then do a couple house shows or dark matches. That's it. So how would he have won the belt and then re-signed or done more fucking months of that? That doesn't make sense. I can't say I believe that. They probably threw that out as an idea for like 2 seconds, and then they're like, nah, I don't think so. I think he's just bullshitting. He's the same guy that said, who cares about whether Rock and Travis Scott are involved, so I can't say I take his word for gospel. Daniel said, what we do. Yeah, that's what Triple H says. It's what we do. We did have Robot J. Marceau back there for a hot second. We did, and it was a mic issue on my end, so I had to unplug. But
sorry, guys.
Yeah, no. Robot Marceau was almost here for a second. Jacob's in the box, Eric said, and he announces he's the 7th guy in the Chamber. I like that.
But when he's on SmackDown this week, what are you going to say?
What if he's not?
He's going to be, like I said, they're going to do the dumb. But then how do you get Cody in it then? If Jacob wins the fucking Chamber, what's going to, it's not fair. And they're just going to say, oh, well, let him in.
Yeah, let him in. Just get Jacob in there, okay? Just get Jacob in there. Yeah, Daniel said, Cena said he was booked to win. Wait, hold on. This can't be. I'm not saying that's not true, like he's telling the truth here, but Cena's got to be bullshitting. This sounds ridiculous. Daniel said Cena said he was booked to win that match, but they were going to restart the match somehow.
The match and Roman would beat him, yeah.
That sounds like absolute dog shit. That sounds awful. Also, that's not being booked to win, by the way. That's not winning the title. If you restart the match, you don't win the title. Dusty Rhodes, was he WWE champion? Was he booked to win? No, they restarted the match, so therefore he didn't win the belt. That is just awful. Oh, Grunt also, he's got some fighting words here. He said, hey, TK slander. I don't recall him ever doing that.
Dude, they've had matches. The first thing they've done was a street fight, and then they said like a singles match.
It doesn't happen often, but it has happened.
I can't think of one on the top of my head. Like that was like a big match, but it's definitely happened.
I can give you an example from last year. Paige and Moxley had a Texas Death Match at All In. They had a rematch on Dynamite, regular match for the title.
I mean, even the Death Riders and the Don Callis family, they're feuding right now. The first match they've had, random 6-man street fight. Yep. And the next week you find a random 6-man with different members.
That is true.
Grunt, there you go, Grunt.
Yep, that is true.
And I watch the product now. I got receipts now.
He watches the product. You can't get one over on Robot RJ Marceau and Grant Matthews, who's not currently present. He's at the he's still covering the Daytona.
He's at the Olympics.
He's at the Olympics right now with Ariel Helwani. Exactly. Speaking of TK, we'll close with some AEW thoughts here. I know you tapped out of the show before you got to the good parts, but Swerve turned heel, which was great. I thought him and Omega, it's definitely worth checking out. I know you weren't a big fan of Fletcher and Ciampa last week, which after watching myself, I can agree with because there were way too many kickouts and some bullshit. This was better. I thought this was a much better match. I thought the match was excellent. Yeah, Fernando said we're wrong. He said, I'm with you on Grunt. You guys are wrong. I mean, we literally just gave you examples, guys. Of
Exactly. We just gave you an example, brother. So
we're right, but it's fine. But Swerve went heel last night, which I thought was great. The world title scene is the best part of AEW right now. And there was also an interesting little nugget on the show last night with MJF and Adam Page. So Page beat not MJF. He beat Andrade at Grand Slam Australia in a very good match. That was kind of short, but it was good. To become number one contender. So it's Page and MJF 1 year removed from the Revolution match last year. This time it's for the title. But they made it more interesting last night. It was also kind of confusing because Page said, oh, you could pick the stipulation, but then he said Texas Death, Page did, so that was kind of strange. But the real thing worth noting here is that Page said, if I lose, I can no longer challenge for the AEW World Championship. And there was a pause, and I'm thinking, okay, well, as long as MJF is champion. But then he said, for as long as I live. No, if that sounds familiar, it's because they did that exact same stipulation with the Bucks when they won the tag titles 5 years ago from FTR. That was dumb. But even more memorable than that, with Cody Rhodes, when the company first started in 2019, he said that to Jericho. Jericho beat him, never went for the world title again, and it put Page, or Cody at that point, in a corner. And his booking was awful because there was no upward trajectory, and they only had one mid-card belt at that point. Now they have like 5. But I'm not convinced this is a great idea. So either put the belt back on MJF, or Page rather, which would be stupid. And I like Page, but that's not the way to go. Or he can no longer challenge for the world title again. Unless he's leaving, that doesn't really seem to make a lot of sense. So you hear that, Mr. Marceau. What's your reaction?
didn't work for the last guy that did that. I don't think it's going to work well for Hangman if that's the case. It's just a very nearsighted decision. Like you said, unless he's leaving, it makes no sense. Because like I said, I don't think they should take the belt off MJF to begin with. And like I said, they do have the other titles, but it's just not the main title. So he's just going to be floating the mid-card scene the rest of his career. I mean, he's not that old. I think it's done. And like you said, unless he's leaving, which I don't think he is, and she shouldn't get the belt back. I mean, he's 34 years old. I think it's just a dumb decision.
Yeah, so Grunt did point out, and I will agree, he said, I will say, at least Hangman is doing this 7 years into his AEW career and having already won the title twice, unlike Cody, who pulled this shit year one without having never been champion. Yeah, no, it's not the same thing. This makes more sense than the Cody thing did, but I wouldn't give the stipulation to anyone, really.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the Cody one was too, because I feel like, I mean, which was even the case then, people would have complained and cried at that moment if Cody won the belt right off the rip, because that's when the company started. People can say they would have complained if Cody won the belt. So that he just went with that stipulation, obviously very nearsighted, bad decision. Yeah. Like, I'm never going to challenge for the championship again, because that just, like you said, then he kind of just muddled up the mid card, and then there was only so much he could do at that point, and then what happened.
Yeah.
But I just feel like that was like you said, it wasn't a great decision, but if he won the belt from Jericho, people would have been complaining. So
yeah,
it is what it is.
No, yeah, I just wouldn't have done that step. I mean, it's wrestling. They can go back on it, but I would not. They seem to honor their stipulations, especially in AEW. This isn't AJ Styles coming out of retirement, even though he said his career is over, which could still happen. Mr. Marceau thinks it might happen on Monday. We'll see. I don't think this is a good idea. And I know Grunt said, I mentioned this before, but before there was one mid-card belt, which Cody went on to win, by the way. When he couldn't win the world title, he became the first ever TNT champion. But are you really going to put Page in the fucking TNT title picture for the next 3 or 4 years? The national championship, the continental title? That's going to get old real quick. That's just, there have to be opportunities where even if he challenges for the top title, he doesn't win. He at least has to go for the belt. To have that ceiling when you're a guy like Page, who's the face of your company, basically, to no longer ever go for that belt, I think is a very stupid decision. That sounds like something he pitched, and they're not thinking long-term, because the Cody thing ended very badly in AEW.
I agree.
So, not a fan of the stipulation. But Grunt also said earlier, what would have been more interesting in his opinion, and I agree, is if Hangman said he could never challenge MJF for the world title ever again, meaning if at any point Max is champion, Hangman can't challenge him. I like that because it's not like it's always, the last chance stuff is only during this run, What he's saying is whenever MJF specifically is champion, you can't challenge him. I like that idea more than what they're doing.
When MJF's gone in 3 years, why would it matter?
Whoa, another hot take. I mean, honestly, that's probably happening. So. Maybe they'll fight for the world title in WWE because I think there's a chance Paige could leave at some point. I mean, he's done all there is to do.
Don't say that. The sickos won't like that.
No, the sickos won't like that one, but you never know. But it's an interesting stipulation. It does make that match must-see. I'm already looking forward to the match, but not a fan of the stipulation, but it does make it more interesting. As we wind down here, about to head out, at Gimme Back Shots, Marceau had 2 comments here. Mr. Marceau's number 1 fan. He said, Mr. Marceau, what were your thoughts on KD's new burner account leaks?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, I assume he's talking about Kevin Durant has new burner account leaks.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not up to, no idea.
Come on. Even I think I know more of what he's talking about than you might.
I don't know.
Grant Matthews is on the case.
Yeah, you're on the case. I don't know that one.
He also said, Mr. Marceau, do you think Charlotte Flair will be added to the Rousey Carano to make it a triple threat for no reason again? LOL.
I hope. I mean, she'll be busy at WrestleMania and win the title from Jade, so who knows? But
which she will be, by the way. I'm convinced of that. She may not win, but she is challenging Jade at Mania.
I think that as well.
Yeah, I think that's the way they're going with it.
Wait until Bianca busts out of the box.
Yeah, Bianca bust out of the box.
Can't wait. I can't wait for it to be something so dumb, and I'm gonna be like, I look like an idiot.
Danhausen,
dude. I'd rather Bianca bust out of the box than Danhausen.
Well, of course, I like Danhausen, but Bianca coming back would be a big dub for the road to WrestleMania for sure. Grunt said Hangman would be a nice shoe-in for winning the C2. Yeah, sure, okay, but the Continental Classic?
C2.
The Continental Classic. That only gets you so far.
My thoughts on the Continental Classic. John Cena said that in an interview. Who cares?
Yeah. He did. That is a John Cena quote. I
actually have another quote. If actually Ricochet said this one. If Adam Page can't go for the main title, he's gonna tarnish his legacy.
Hey, I mean, you're lucky Ricochet didn't go after you on Twitter the other day when you made that comment in reference to my tweet. You got to be careful. He might come after you.
Hey, come at me, buddy.
Fernando said, I enjoy the stipulation. It doesn't have to stick. They can create a scenario where he has to go through huge obstacles to get back in the main event picture. That's what I said, but you're going against the stipulation.
Why do the stip to not go? Like, I think it's like, why do the stip and then go back on it?
Yeah, no, I think it's just to make the match more interesting, but I don't know. That's a short-term thing for a long-term issue. I think there's a very good chance they do that, Fernando. I just would not do that because I don't like when any company goes back in the stipulations like that, when you don't have to do a stipulation like that in the first place. Grunt said, hey, Max is a lifer. MJF is a lifer, he says. I don't know about that, Grunt.
I don't know about that, buddy.
I saw the interview with Chris Van Vliet. The guy, he goes, I will represent any 3 letters that hire me to the best of my ability, which makes it sound like if I get a better offer from WWE in a couple years, I'm fucking signing with Paul Levesque, and I'm getting that point picture.
It's not a better offer. I feel like in 3 years, when it was, he at that point, he's wrestled everyone and done anything. At that point, it's like, he's already done everything in AEW, so like, why wouldn't you try?
Well, not only that, he'll be like, not even that old. Like when he's re-signed with AEW a few years ago, bro, he was still like 26, 27. I don't know how old he was at the time.
He's 29 now.
He's 29 now. So he was probably like 26 at the time when he re-signed. It could have been 20. He could have been 25 if this was in 2022. We just don't know. But it made sense. I know we talked about it at the time, like he could have gone to WWE. I think he made the right choice because Cody went, no real reason to rush after him. He has his entire career. I would say he should probably go whenever his contract is up.
I saw the face-off with him and Rollins at the Super Bowl, too.
Hey, the Radio Row Super Bowl. It's happening. As long as they don't call him JFM and give him new music, which they probably will, but whatever. And I think he would do well there. So he's definitely not a lifer, though. Whether it's in 3 years, 10 years, he'll be in WWE eventually. I can guarantee you of that. Eric said Tiffany and Giulia, I could see that at Mania. Maybe on the SmackDown before Mania.
Yeah, it's not a Mania match.
Yeah, not with all the other women's matches they already have that feel bigger than that. Daniel said, oh, God. So on the KD situation, he said KD, Kevin Durant, slandered current teammates and even called one the R word, LOL, on his burner. Jesus. Kevin Durant in some hot water. It's not good. Not good.
I haven't seen this.
Now I got to do some research on this. And then last thing here, the huge difference is Cody was never AEW World Champion. We saw Hangman win the world title in AEW twice. Who cares if he doesn't have title matches for a while? It's a big difference, Fernando, between a while and forever. If he agrees to this stipulation, he can never go back for the world title unless they go back on it, which is also dumb. So that is, yeah, there is a difference there, but okay, what if he's not in the title picture for a while? Bro, this is forever. If he doesn't go anywhere and he's in that company for the rest of his career, he can never again challenge for their top title, according to the stipulation, which is stupid. He's the guy. Not a fan.
I don't agree.
I don't know. We'll see come Revolution. Now we'll talk more about it as it gets closer. Elimination Chamber, though, is next week. So right here on the show next Thursday, we will be doing predictions for what will very likely end up being a 4-match card, maybe a 5-match card. But we'll see on Raw and SmackDown in the coming week if they add more matches. Grunt also said later in that same interview that he honestly doesn't see himself anywhere else because he likes having AEW on his back. I did not see that. That's interesting. I still think he goes to WWE. You know, I mean, I think he has to show some loyalty to AEW. I think he loves AEW as MJF. But I think as someone who grew up a massive mark for WWE, MJF was a through and through WWE fan. And he knows he would do well there because he's a big star. I know he likes having AEW on his back, but like Mr. Marceau said, if the money's good over there, and in AEW you've done all that there is to do and you've faced everyone there is to face, what more is there really for him to accomplish in AEW long term? So I do think he's probably going to end up in WWE down the road, but we'll see. Maybe we're wrong. Time will tell. But anyway, folks, we'll be back next Thursday right here on WrestleRant Radio. New episodes every single Thursday here on YouTube at WrestleRant.com, WrestleRantRadio.com, and all major podcast platforms. Want to shout out the channel members real quick. Alexis, Miss Mon Matthews, Dillon, DiGiacomo, Mrs. Renee, Mr. Marceau, at RJ_Marceau on X, doing his best AJ Styles impersonation there with the with the gloves. John Ritland, Real Honest with John Ritland on YouTube, Richie Red Planet Wrestling on YouTube, and Average Grunt, speak of the devil, at gruntwrestling.bluesky.social on Blue Sky. More information down below. Be sure to like the video on your way out if you haven't already. Be sure to help the video by doing that. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and again, if you're watching now or after the fact, thank you so much. Always appreciated. We'll be right back here for the show next week. Mr. Marceau, that being said, any closing words of wisdom as we ride off into the sunset here?
I got nothing.
Got nothing. Go support the Cavs. I can't wait to ask you about it next week.
Can't wait.
Can't wait either. All right, guys. Have an awesome one. For Mr. Marceau, I'm Graham G.S. Matthews. Have an excellent week, and we'll catch your ass down the road.
Join Graham GSM Matthews and RJ Marceau every Thursday as they run down their weekly wrestling rants, offer expert analysis, host exclusive interviews, and more. Subscribe today on all your favorite podcast platforms and never miss an episode of WrestleRant Radio.